hold on. I thought monitors were already advanced as hell already since they caught with smart TV technology. But now we talk about monitors being made pushing over 600 megahertz, 610 megahertz to be exact. If you're shocked as I am, ASUS has something to say about this. Let's get into this. Hi everyone, was a boy Tech back in with some more tech news. Now we got some articles and rumors floating around and leaks for on videocars.net is the article name that I got this information from. I'll put it down below, but if you want to look at it yourself. But supposedly ASUS is going to make two different monitors upcoming soon if I haven't released it already. They're going to make a 4K 24-inch one that can overclock to 610 hertz, and that's the caveat. And it can also have different refresh rate levels. It can overclock to 610, but the default, I believe, if I'm not mistaken, the default is either 480, 310, or 160, or it could do 480 and 310. One of those, I think it's like 2 or 3 different levels of refresh rate levels that you can adjust it to without overclocking. But natively, I think that comes around 240 or 310 hertz, and it's a 4K monitor. But the other caveat of it is, even though everyone may be happy at 600 hertz, I thought monitors were advanced as hell already, but for people to be pushing, even if it's by overclocking, over 600 megahertz, that's insane. What will you really need 600 plus megahertz for? I'm talking to you esports people. You really don't need 610 megahertz monitors, especially something that's that small. But I know there's some people out there that are really diehard esports people, and they still use 24-inch monitors. But me and all people I know, and my friends and my circle, nobody really drops or uses anything more lower than 27-inch. And if they want to go ultra wide, they go 32, 34 or beyond. So I don't know a lot of people personally in my life that still use 24-inch. 24-inch is kind of like a dead screen realistic size to me, because everyone wants 27 as like 27 is like the standard for gaming monitors now. But then there are other niche people that like me that like ultra wides, and then they go to 34s and up. I don't think anything should be longer than max 40 inches probably, because if at that point if you want more than 40, you might as well attach it to your high refresh rate smart TV. But yeah, going back on topic, so the caveats are the frequency of achievement of 610 megahertz by ASUS is only via overclocking. If you don't like overclocking like me, I don't like overclocking monitors, don't see a point of overclocking monitors. I'd rather just get a monitor that already has a native high refresh rate than messing with monitor settings, because the only things I like to overclock are my CPU and my GPU. But I'm not a big overclocker when it comes to monitors. I'd rather just get the refresh rate that's native, so I'm not straining the monitor or risk straining the monitor to achieve what these manufacturers are touting that I can go to. So the first caveat is it has to be overclocked. Without overclock, it doesn't get the 610, but it still has high refresh rates natively. It has a variable refresh rate. You can either adjust it to 480 hertz, 310, and 240, or I believe it's 480 hertz, 240, and 160. One of those 3 levels that you can drop to if you don't decide not to overclock it. And then you're releasing another one that's a little bit bigger than 24 inches, a 32-inch one that's going to is going to be default native 240 hertz if not mistaken, and you can adjust it to 160 hertz. But this is one of the dual mode monitors, because when I mean dual mode, according to what they said in the article, dual mode means you can switch between different resolutions, which is kind of a cool concept. And I can see a niche for it or a use case for it. So by stock, it's IPS display, 32-inch, and it is, how to say it, 32-inch IPS. Oh yeah, you can adjust it to 4K or 1080p or FHD is what they call it, like full high definition. And the 4K version, if you choose a 4K mode, you can get the 160 hertz. And if you choose the 240 hertz one, then you have to drop it down to 1080p. So that's kind of cool that you can adjust different resolutions. I never heard of a monitor before adjusting resolutions like that. So that's a cool concept if they come up with it. But the last caveat, that's probably the biggest one for the 24-inch one, in addition to the caveats I said for that one, is that ASUS expects us to pay $1,100 is what the target pricing is for that 24-inch monitor, just because it can overclock at 610 and just because it's 4K. At that point, you might as well get a high refresh rate television that'll be cheaper than $1,100. Like, Where are you going with this, ASUS? And this is why I kind of stopped buying ASUS products, because they always charge you for arm and a leg for the brand name, even though they're good. But back in the day, ASUS, like OG ASUS, always was known for quality. But nowadays, they're kind of like hit and miss from what I've been seeing over the years, especially their recent warranty shenanigans they had recently in the last year or two. And in addition to that, they had the whole motherboard clip issue. So ASUS has been very spotty the last couple of years. Shout out for people who had proper mileage and they have good experience with them recently. But for what I've seen, with the most majority of the people have been having a lot of issues with ASUS products. So that's why I kind of started to stay away from them for a couple of years now. When I go for motherboards, I usually go ASRock now or something else. But back on topic, y'all let me know what I think before. If the measly 24-inch is going to be charged by $1,100 plus by ASUS, I can just imagine how the 32-inch variant that doesn't go as hard as 610, but still high refresh rate could be charging. So I ain't got money for ASUS for a 24-inch monitor. Y'all let me know in the comments below if you would pay $1,100 plus for a monitor that supposedly can overclock the 610. And if so, what do you need the 610 megahertz for? Until then, this is Biolock Tech signing out.